Okay, welcome back. We've actually, last time we had just added in the doors for our elevator shaft and stairway. And now what we can do is actually add in some more walls and such into our floor plans. We've got these levels open, and we can actually close those off because we're not going to use that as our levels anymore. We were going to use the floor levels as our levels for what we're actually trying to accomplish. Well, 6 we don't need anymore. We'll just be opening up floor levels now. We'll open up floor level 1, and we can see in here that we've got our space here that we've got the openings for. This are our elevator shafts and our stairwell shaft. If we'd like to put in walls now for our unit, and say maybe create something interesting for, keeping in mind this is our first level, we might want to have something interesting to walk into. Maybe I don't know what this building's necessarily used for, but maybe we'll have a little bit of a lobby in here, and then who knows, maybe a coffee shop or something. We'll see what we can come up with here. I'll grab some walls. Architectural walls will be fine in this case, and we'll maybe switch that into a 1 hour, or so. We'll do the 5-inch 2-hour partition wall. That should be pretty good. We can actually switch up the walls to make them whatever it is that we'd like to have, as we did do earlier with our walls, or with our floors. We made the hardwood floors. We could easily do that with these floors as well, by creating layers on both sides of the walls as we're doing it. We could in fact do that. That would be just fine. We'll explore a little bit of that, do some edit type, and when we do that, what we would like to do every time that we do this is make sure we duplicate what it is, so we're not working over something that we've got as our basic wall. We wouldn't want to have that as what we're doing. We'll actually make it so that this will add a 2 at the end of it. We'll have maybe we'll just name this one layers. I don't know. We'll see what it ends up being. We can rename it later, I'm sure. But all right, we'll do that, and we'll have the same idea as what we did with our floor. We have structure. We can actually go under here and construction, and press edit on that, and it'll give us what the structure actually is in this particular case. We have metal studs in here. That's one thing. We've got gyprock. That's pretty good bit of whatever. But if we wanted to change up the finish on this, we could keep it the same sorts of thing. We could actually add in, maybe on the outside of one of the walls, we want to have an insert that says it's not gypsum. Maybe we want to have another bit of something. We've got 2 finishes of gypsum in there for whatever reason. We could create this one to be also finished. We'll switch it out of gypsum. We'll maybe make that into another material, just to have something that's a little bit different. We've got a bunch that show up automatically, but maybe we want to have we wouldn't probably want carpet or asphalt shingling. We could certainly look into brick or something. So let's take a look into some brick, or wonder what they have in here for tile. We'll take a look at tile. Iron ductile, tile mosaic gray, blue porcelain tile, just to see that we can do that. Okay. So that one on the outside of that part of the wall will be a porcelain tile. On the outside of this one Well, we'll keep that as gypsum. What the heck? That sounds fine. Yeah, we'll keep that as such. Well, maybe we'll switch this into... We'll see if we can switch that one into brick. Brick common. Switch that into brick. Press OK. So a membrane layer that's deleted. Zero thickness layer must have membrane layer function. Okay, so we've got a layer in there that's acting as a membrane layer. Oh, I see. That's the one that I've put in there before. So we've the one layer that we've put into here. We've actually got a structure, and we actually need to make that as a membrane layer. And that's fine. Doesn't need to. We actually want to not have that. Layer didn't have to add a new layer in there. Anyways, that's what we've got. It's one side will be brick and one side will be a tile. So when we're doing that, we can actually, there's a bunch of under the draw tool section on our ribbon at the top here. We've got the ability to draw. We can use arcs. We can use straight lines. We'll start off here with maybe straight lines in the back. Maybe we'll have something going down this way, coming back into here. There's one of the walls that we can put in. We'll probably want to have it so that people could walk around to the side here, or who knows, maybe with bathrooms in there. But throw that one in that way. Could throw an arc maybe from here to there, and it'll give you the radius of the arc. As you can see, as I move it around, we'll change the radius. That's not too bad. We'll keep that one there. Arc from here to here. And depending on which way we drew those, will likely change up the side of the wall that it is. So if we've got brick on one side and tile on the other, you know, I believe I drew this one this way and drew that one that way. So that might not be our best scenario. We could flip the sides of that actually on there, and it should flip the materials to the other side. Because would have drawn it the other way, it will end up putting the wrong material on it. In fact, if we'd like to back out of this, press escape, and we can actually take a look in the view and do a 3D view. Under 3D view we have camera, and now we can create a camera view and take a look at what we've got here. We've got that. We can set it where we want to stand, and just like we're a person in the lobby looking at something with a camera, we'll extend that to the direction we'd like to look. We'll have it looking out towards our wall that we've got. It doesn't really show us a whole lot there right now, but I mean it does, but you won't get a good idea of what's going on there unless we could throw that into our realistic view. And that's, we've put our brick up on the one side. If we'd like to have our tile, as I said before, on the other side, we could actually go into floor 1, click on this, click the direction on there, and that'll put our tile now up in that direction. So one side is going to be brick, one side is going to be tile, no matter where you're putting that wall up. So we actually take a look here. We can go and put another view in here. Take the camera view, stretch it out this way, and take a look at the other bit. We can see that one here will be, looks like that will be a brick view, as it were, in there. You can see our elevator shaft openings, hardwood floors. We haven't got a ceiling put into this yet, but we can absolutely put that in later. But you can see where we're at now. We've got those walls in. Maybe we'll add some more walls and continue on with what we're doing here. We could put in a different kind of wall system. We'll go into the regular walls. We've created the one wall. We can just switch it up into, because we didn't get rid of the regular interior walls that we had before, the 2-hour partition, we could actually just create the rest of them with that style of wall, and it will just make a gypsum, wall in there. Something like this along the back, coming down. Maybe there's some offices or something along in here. That'll be fine. Now we've got a little bit of a space in there. We throw some doors into this as well. Maybe we don't like those doors for what it's worth into what we have. Maybe we'll load some families up, put some new doors in there. Load the families up. Could put a maybe we'll put this flush double acting door in there. Let's pick one of them for now. Throw that one in there. Throw one in there. We'll maybe switch a different door for the other ones. Maybe we want to have maybe slightly nicer something maybe for maybe double glass, or we could do something a little bit nicer looking for maybe if we had something like a restaurant or the top there, we could have that in there, double glass doors. Grab that one maybe for that. Maybe put a couple of those in. So you have a way of getting into there. You can sort of see where we're at with that. We'll escape out of there, and we'll see that we have, in fact, some doors in here placed in. We'll take a look at that with our views, get the cameras. We can take a little look at what that looks like. And here we are. We've got we'll throw that into realistic view. Maybe finer detail. Give us a little bit more. Changing the spectrum. You can move these around and actually look in and out and whatnot with that. You can, when you're in these camera views, you can actually change up where the walls and whatnot are, just as we move the door over a little bit in the 3D view before for the shaft opening. We can do the same thing with any of this stuff in a 3-dimensional view. It's actually really nice to have the 3-dimensional view open, because if you'd like to see what your systems are actually doing, it's just like anything. If you can't really see what you're doing and you don't know what you're doing by looking at it, then how are you really knowing how everything you're doing affects what your operations are that you're doing here, right? Like, so it's important to be able to see what it is that you've changed. So it's really important to open up these views and take a look and see how that's affecting the rest of everything, or else you're just blindly putting stuff in and maybe it doesn't quite go with where you're trying to put the object into. Well, we can see that we've got doors in here. We got the door going in through our brick wall over this way. All these views are up and open. You got another door going in through the tiled wall there, and that's great. We can actually go into these floors and add some more stuff if you'd like to, but I think you get the idea. We could throw in whatever. We could move those walls up like we do with the other stuff by copying them up, but mostly like there's going to be the odd thing that you want to have copied all the way up to the top, and that's fine. Like a lot of office buildings are pretty similar all the way up, but sometimes they won't be, and certainly a first floor generally won't be the same as the rest of the floors in the building. They'll have some sort of feature to them as you walk in, maybe a little bit more special than the offices and whatnot that'll be above it. So as we've done a curved wall here, the walls above it don't have to be curved. They certainly might not be for the most part. They might just be pretty boxy upstairs, So we won't copy these walls up. We'll just leave it as is. We can take a look here at our floor plan. Not the greatest necessarily, but not the worst either, I guess. We're just doing willy-nilly. Just, nothing really spectacular is going on here. We could put some offices over here and do a whole lot more work into it. But you can see how we put in doors. We've put in elevator shafts and whatnot into this right now. And that's kind of where we're at. We'll get into some more of this other stuff later. But for now, we've got some walls. We've got some doors in the first floor. It showed you how to make a wall that has different structures on it. You certainly can, when you're doing this, any of these different structures that you're doing, if you did the floors up differently with different materials, so if you do the walls up with different materials, it'll add that into the factors later on. You can get reports and whatnot that it can generate with all the dynamics, we'll say, of everything that's in there. It will become important. There's definitely some points that if you needed the information for it, what these walls will do, or what structures in it, or how much of such material you're using, it will generate all of that information for you by what you've put in. So it is important that you get the numbers right when you're building the walls. In this case, we didn't really care. We're making a fictitious building. It's nothing that anyone's going to be living in. We're not ever building this building. Well, at least I'm not, anyways. I doubt that anyone's going to let you. It's not very engineered at all. But anyways, so on to the next bit then.